Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Lone Pine Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to your Tuesday. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that we have going on here. Just so you guys can see, we're starting off with a clean slate, no open positions, no filled orders, nothing like that. Very poor start to the day, no question about it. Overall market is aggressively selling off right now. This is /NQ, which is the overall NASDAQ future. It was beginning to show signs of an uptrend and it's been selling off ever since. /CL is following a very similar pattern, meaning that it's simply showing signs of a sell-off. /NG, again, overall was beginning to try to uptrend. It uptrended, it hit highs of 2.32 and then just began to aggressively sell off. So if there's any time to be selective and to maybe not put yourself in a poor position, it's definitely now, right? As of right now, it looks like, again, this is a little bit more on the oversold side. Looks like natural gas is too. We're back at that support, and there it goes. It's aggressively selling off. Again, not in favor of you guys, and we'll see how far it actually drops. But this is where we closed at. This is where we're at right now. So this is definitely in favor of DGAS, and DGAS is opening up 4.1% in the green. So good morning, good morning. What's going on, team? So I'm going to try to see if I can identify some form of pattern. So I did almost want to get into DWT, which means that when /CL sells off, then DWT goes up. But I saw this to be a little bit more on the oversold side. Therefore, I could see why it could find a support. I don't know if you guys could see this as well, but it's been kind of doing these kind of like almost like higher lows where it sells off but not as low as it did before. It sells off not as low as it did before, and then sells off but not as low as it did before. So maybe something to keep an eye out. /NG is not really following that though. So it was beginning to show signs of an uptrend, got rejected by that middle VWAP, and then aggressively began to sell off once again. So what I'm going to allow, if this direction is true, right, and if this is going to continue to sell off, I'm going to see if I can allow natural gas to continue to push up, if I can allow /CL to continue to push up, to become overbought, and then maybe get it when it's not so much of a good deal, right? Therefore, making DWT a better deal at that point. So DWT is also up about 4.53%, which is, pretty impressive. There it goes. Pretty strong pullback. /CL with a strong push up. There we go. How are you guys all feeling this morning? Pumped? Okay. A lot of speculation. I like that. I like that. Terrible. I'm on a horrible losing streak. Why is that? What are you holding anything? Hurts. What's up? What's going on, Harrison? I like that, Alvin. All right, watch out for lower lows here. Off work, rolled my ankle. I've rolled my ankle before. Not the best feeling. Sorry about that, Nathan. So no, I just keep getting blitzed by reversals. Okay, so let's make sure that moving forward, because of the inconsistency, right? I mean, I can agree with you as well. I've been put in pretty poor positions, but it's only yourself that's putting you in those positions, right? So like for me, if there's not a super clear direction, or if there is a current pattern during pre-market hours, we've noticed a lot that as soon as the market opens, there could be a potential change of direction. So again, how about we try to focus maybe on trading less and trying to ensure that the opportunity is presenting itself, right? So let's go ahead and see if we can do this. See what we got going on over here. All right, all right. Yeah, not sure how I feel about that. Uh, it's still finding a support on still finding a support on /CL. So again, nothing wrong with being a little bit more patient on your entries. So we were waiting for lower lows, trying to see if that formulated, and it didn't. So again, just a nice little friendly reminder on, this thing was selling off all pre-market hours, and guess what? It's beginning to change direction. So it sucks that as soon as the market opens, this begins to happen. But trust me, you can complain as much as you want. It's not going to do you any good. So what can you do? You can, pivot and adjust with the market, right? So, just staying on your toes and trying to see, if you can kind of go with the flow. If you don't see a flow, if you don't see a consistent pattern, then don't force it. Don't put yourself in a poor situation. I want to give a huge shout out to Danson. I believe Danson's already up another, I think 2%, something like that. And he has nearly a $25,000 trading account, and he had a very poor week trading. Just poor performance last week. He's began trading with less than $5,000 per trade, and he's actually been doing a lot better, right? Because you're more selective, you're more confident with your trade. Therefore, you're less likely to make emotional mistakes. So. Yeah, I agree. It has a lot of margin to recover, right, Harrison? So that's a good way to put it. So GoPro near low of all time. I did see that. I got a lot of alerts yesterday about GoPro and that aggressive sell-off. I just don't like descending patterns, right? I just don't like descending patterns, and because of that, yeah, it is oversold, but it can continue to aggressively sell off, and I wouldn't find that to be worthwhile, right? So because of that, I would feel okay with saying that I'm out. /CL is now selling off. That's what it looks like right now. So there it goes. Look at that. Look at DWT. So what was that? From 620. I'm going to give this time. I want there to be a consistent flow. I want the flow. I don't even really like how aggressive it's trading right now, right? I want there to be such a consistent flow. A perfect example, if you guys are asking, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, Ricky, what do you mean by a consistent flow? What do you mean by that? So when there is a clear direction of what's going up and what's going down, right? So if I were to look at this point, right, for /NQ, it was just continuously getting rejected by the EMA line, right? There's this clear direction of, where to sell the inverse ETF. And then as this thing is pushing up, approaching its SMA line and then gets rejected, then I know when to buy it, right? Then it sells off. Then I know when to lock in profits, looking at the RSI and the MACD. And then it pushes up. And then I know when to, buy SQs, right? Once it gets confirmed and rejected by that EMA line and making lower lows. So you're kind of just going with the flow as something is actively uptrending. If you want to know see what that looks like, you can kind of go here, and it's kind of hard because it's pre-market hours. Yeah, I wouldn't really, it looks a little choppy during pre-market. That's why I like looking at the future. But as of right now, as the overall market is, selling off, it makes sense on why then we're paying attention to SQs, right? Holy, just got a cramp. There we go. DWT, thank you. Appreciate you guys. So here we go. Hit lows of 622. Right now, currently at highs of 625. Exactly. I like that, George. I wanted to see. I got a lot of positive feedback from our traders yesterday as we dedicated time to breaking down stocks that you guys see value in. So if you guys can do me the biggest favor and post your call outs in the ticker call out format, I'd be more than happy to break it down for you guys. So here it goes. /CL selling off. We have DWT pushing up just like we expected, and this is good. We're becoming more comfortable. We're like, okay, it actually still did sell off. We didn't take the trade, which means we don't benefit from either the potential risk of the loss, nor do we benefit from, the profits, but we're gaining experience on how it's trading today. Not bad, right? It depends on how you look at it. And there it goes. Highs of 631. Are we going to make highs on the day? Can we break 632? That was a big red candle for forward/CL. Look at that. Looks like it might find a support here based off of previous lows. Around 52 is a pretty, solid area where it's oversold. So keep an eye out for that. Looks like natural gas is about to sell off once again. Pretty aggressive descending pattern. So wouldn't really surprise us if it does sell off, right? Just going to set alerts so I can stay up to date with, what's pushing up and what's pushing down. Are the trades really free on 2S? I heard about it, but I think it was a lie. No one benefits from lying about that, right? Especially not to the Ameritrade. So, if I want to buy, DWT, huge pullback. If I want to buy DWT and I want to get in, you can see that, my cost of trade is 0. So it doesn't cost me anything to actually trade it. At least that's what they have going on right now. So you don't have to use TD Ameritrade. Charles Schwab offered this as well. Interactive Brokers, I believe E-Trade joined as well. So there's so many different options that you have. It's for those that are within the United States, right? I haven't, Kyle. It's just because I don't have a very interesting or unique by any means like routine or anything like that. I've just been doing it for so long that, sometimes I'll take a shower in the morning for just to feel more refreshed and stuff like that. But really depends. Every day it's kind of different. I don't need to take a shower to feel ready, or I don't meditate or anything like that. I just feel like I don't have a very interesting setup or anything of that, of maybe someone that would trade and stuff like that. But I appreciate you asking. All right, so we got /CL approaching this SMA line. Are we going to get rejected? Thanks, Jonathan. All right. Come on, TD Ameritrade. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see. DGAS back at support. Margin, what is that? 1%. Does not outweigh the risk. So I don't like the spread on DGAS either. So yeah, it can aggressively push up, and I think that's great. It just doesn't meet my criteria, right? Nothing wrong with that. Alrighty, here we go. We're approaching 622, 623. All right, so we got our first breakdown for the day. So we got SQQQ. Thank you again, Brandon, for posting it in the ticker call out format. So this would be a swing trade, right, is what you're looking at. And I guess it has to do with overall, with trade tensions. Yeah, I kind of figured, right? It definitely is above the EMA line. The MACD is curling up. The RSI is curling up. So it's very news-based, and it could obviously go either way. So you have to accept the risk with that. On top of that, is the margin of profit worth it based off of even just recent patterns from a couple days ago? I would say so. I could see why someone would find the 5 to 6% margin attractive, especially if they've gotten in already when it's above the EMA line. I would look at closer timeframes to identify more of a pattern, and this is what I mean by that. So on the 20-day 1-hour chart, you can see that the SMA line tends to act as a support. It doesn't have to, especially, technicals are good, but fundamentals will always take over. So all this news that's being released, this thing can be, actively uptrending. News can be against this, and then this thing can shoot right back down. So just keep risk management in the back of your head as top priority, and don't be afraid to lock in profits. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's beginning to push up on this time frame. Of course, it looks like it's a little bit more on the overbought side, and I think it's something to keep a close eye on and see what the results are on for the tensions behind the trade war. And there's a lot of talk this upcoming week, so I think it should be interesting. Are my alerts not going off? Okay, so we got a huge push on crude oil, right? Huge push on crude oil, and then a nice push on natural gas. Oh, and it pulled back already. Yeah, it's crazy. We have people all around the world. We have people in Australia that tune in to these live trading sessions that stay up right before they go to bed. It's absolutely crazy. It's cool though. I made a little post on Instagram yesterday, right? And first of all, I think you have to enjoy what you do as you're first getting started. Hey, Philip. I think you have to enjoy what you do and have a passion for it as you're first getting started, because let's be honest, we all know that the monetary reward is not there. It's not present when you're first getting started, right? Therefore, you need to make sure that you have some other form of incentive, and that incentive is literally just enjoying what you're doing every single day. I think that's really what allowed me to overcome and spend all that time trying to learn more about it, making mistakes, learning from it. I didn't need to be dependent on the income from trading because I was at a job that allowed me to provide for myself. But because of that, it allowed me to think more clearly and approach the market in a much more relaxed way, which now puts me in a position where I get a benefit from all trading has to offer. So yeah, we have people that it's very early for us, and some people that it's very late for them. So natural gas with a drop, quick change of direction. Quick change of direction. Let's see what we got going on here. Looking a little overbought. Let's see. So we got /CL beginning to show signs of a pullback. Do you guys see this? Right? Looking overbought, look at the MACD, look at the RSI, beginning to show signs of a pullback, but I wanted to see if I can get it in for a little bit of a better deal. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. It's already pulling back. So, oh, there it goes. It just bounced off the EMA line. Natural gas. Ryan, you cracked me up. Back at the support, right? Watch for lower lows right now. It's been making lower highs, right? So it would make sense on why we could break support. Oh, here goes /CL. Do you guys see this? What do you guys think is going to happen? Sell off? Do you think you'll fulfill this margin? Just set up a plan. Set up a plan. How would you trade this? Don't actually trade it, right? If you don't see value in it, but how would you trade this? We kind of have this little margin right now where it's consolidating, right? The lows and the highs. Bounce off the SMA is what some people are saying. /CL bounce. Okay. We'll have to see. Right now we're trading between 6.1 and 21 and 22. All right, overall market aggressively selling off. We should see it follow. Do you guys see that? Aggressive sell off. Strong push. Whoa. Yeah, margin still isn't big enough for me as of right now, and we're seeing a lot of consolidation. So a lot of you guys might be asking, well, why aren't you taking a position? It's consolidating for it's now above the SMA line, which is something that it was not above all pre-market session as it was aggressively selling off. So because of that, I do agree that yeah, it can sell off. But now it's not really making lower lows anymore. If you guys see this, it hasn't, at least in the past 1 hour. And because of that, what normally happens when something aggressively sells off, it no longer makes lower lows, and then it begins to trade above the SMA line? What normally happens? It doesn't have to, and I'm not saying that it will. What's going on, Danson? What's up? What's up? We are just talking about you. But it could potentially begin to consolidate, right? Flatline, and then begin to change directions possibly. And you guys got it right here, consolidate and then change direction. So I appreciate the assist. But yeah, it's just, I wouldn't feel as comfortable. I could 100% see it consolidate at the SMA line, find a support, and then begin to uptrend. It wouldn't be like, would it surprise you that it would do that? Probably not, right? Because it makes sense. So if it makes sense, then allow it to, kind of fulfill that margin. So right now, /NG. Yeah, we're not looking too hot here. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun looking at this. I'm having fun watching this, right? And we're getting a better understanding of the flow and how it's moving, what's pushing up as what sells off, right? What's still kind of selling off, and what's consolidating. So I think crude oil is still going to sell off more, but let's go ahead and watch it. Let's see. What would trigger you right now to take a position? A clear direction? No, not on. I wouldn't take one right now on crude oil, because I still want to allow it and give it more time. So I wanted to either sell off a little bit more and continue to make lower lows, or to actually consolidate and then make higher highs, right? I want there to be a clear direction, and we're not getting that since the market has opened. So yeah, it's still sold off, but it pushed up, but not as high as it did before. And it's sold off, but it's not as low as it did before, and it hasn't been selling off as low as it has before. And there it goes. Here it goes, pushing up. Can we hit $6.30 for DWT? So we will see. Yeah, I'm trying to take my time. I'm trying to feel. I'm not even like feel comfortable with the trade. It's I need to find a pattern, a flow. some form of direction, and I'm not getting that right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not getting that right now. The only one that I'm seeing that has a consistent direction is /NQ. And the reason that I'm not trading SQs is because I don't find the margin of profit to be worth it, right? Because it's not a triple leverage, it's just a straight ETF. Therefore, it doesn't move too much. And that's just my opinion, right? That's why I don't trade it too often. And there it goes, /CL with, its first green candle after its sell off. We'll see if it continues to push. But do you guys see how, like, we're finding a lot of attractive things about these, different futures and different ETFs and ETNs, but yet, we're not so willing to take a position. Why? Because it doesn't meet our entire criteria. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, like, no, right? That's what makes you selective, and that's what makes you you. Ooh, congrats, Javier. We'll check that out. OSTK. Okay, so I had a really nice push up. So that puts up about 5%. All right. It has a lot of margin to recover, right? Yep. Sweet, it does have a lot of margin to recover. So looks like it is trying to show signs of a reversal. We'll see if it continues to hold above the EMA line, just as it held below the EMA line before. So what do you mean an ETF being a triple leverage? Meaning that, a lot of the ETFs or ETNs that I trade, as in like DWT, are triple leverage. It's 3x, meaning that when the future moves 1%, the correlating ETF or ETN moves about 3%. That's why we can make these assumptions during, Sunday, that if /CL, is down 1.3%, we can guesstimate what DWT is going to open in the green if it stays around that price range, right? We can just multiply that by 3 and be like, hey, it's going to open up about 4%. And we can look at that and, oh, okay, cool. But yeah. So by there being a movement of, 1% on the future, the correlating ETF or ETN moves 3%. Therefore, there's more volatility and more movement, which is more attractive to me as a day trader, right? The 1% movements are not as attractive for me, as it might take longer periods of time, and it really depends. If you're someone that is maybe just getting started and trying to get their feet wet, maybe triple leverage, thinking about it, triple leverage isn't what you probably want to start off with. It might move too quick percentage wise, and it's all about percentages, right? Therefore, if I'm not mistaken, it's not triple leverage. I can double check and I can look a little bit more into it. If I'm not mistaken, it's not. Let me double check. I'll have to look into a little bit more of the ticker once we close out the stream. But yeah, you guys might be right. It might be. I've seen it move a lot less than, than the correlating other ETFs and stuff like that. So. Yeah, one of the things that you see happen pretty often are like reverse stock splits and stuff like that. That is why I've had such a huge focus on, I've never suggested anyone to like hold, these ETFs or ETNs overnight, because they do decay over time. Okay, so they are 3x. Okay. But one of the main reasons that I just, wouldn't hold, as, they do decay over, long periods of time, and I just feel like it isn't worth it. Yeah, we're getting a lot of inconsistencies right now with /CL. So it's beginning to find a support. Do you guys see this? Yeah, Ryan is saying /CL is so annoying. I agree. It's we have to give it time, right? There's no clear direction. see. Wow. Aggressive sell-off. Oh. Look at that. Thought I had a nosebleed. No, I'm not in anything. You guys can see that right here. I'm not taking a position or anything today. So there it goes. So we are now making higher highs on crude oil. So little question for you guys. We just made higher highs on crude oil, and we've been making these almost like, higher lows as well to an extent, right? On crude oil, we're now beginning to find the SMA line to be as a support. So what is this telling us, about what's going on right now? So from the pre-market trading session to where we're at right now, ask yourself, I like to focus on a clear direction, a clear pattern, and to make sure that the opportunity cost is worth it. But you could really only, calculate the opportunities based off of a pattern or, a direction, right? Possible reversal, but too inconsistent to say. I agree. I think that was said pretty well. Possible change of direction. I agree. Would you consider posting a picture recap of your trade more consistently with the loan plan profit team? Yeah, of course. So are you talking about like the little entries and exits of my trades that I post like on like YouTube and stuff like that? But yeah. So nice push up. Okay, sounds good. Strong pullback. Pretty crazy, right? Just as quick as it pushes up, it pulls back 2 minutes later. That could be really upsetting. Now we're back at 623. Pulled back all the way down to what, 615? Just imagine you being in this position. Think about it. If you're in here waiting for this thing to push up, it sells off, you cut losses, it pushes up. It's this roller coaster of emotions. You don't know if it's going to continue to go up or sell back down again. So, of course, yeah, I'll do a better job posting my entries and exits for the day. I thought the recap videos, I do recap right on YouTube, and then I talk about like where I entered and stuff like that. But yeah, altogether I'll do a better job showing that. So okay. Sweet. All right. Here it goes. Crude oil again, beginning to find a support. Natural gas trying to find a support, no longer trying to sell off. Overall market still aggressively selling off. Sorry, team. There's not a consistent enough pattern. I mean, I guess I could go into UWT right now, right? UWT for what that's worth, to try to see if we can ride this bad boy up. Margin of profit is less than 1%. Don't really find that to be attractive. No clear direction. Don't think it's worth the risk, right? Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable to trade this. I can definitely see why, right? yeah, I'm gonna give this a little bit more time. I'm really struggling to identify a super clear direction. I don't know about you guys, but natural gas looks like it's trying to reverse, but again, it's still an overall descending pattern. And would it be a surprise if this thing begins to aggressively sell off? So I always seem to lose money when it begins to consolidate. Yeah, because me too, right? Because it begins to change directions. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So happy being up $30 on DWT, not in our favor today. Yeah, so right now I would say that we're at /CL. Okay, looks like it might begin to sell off once again. All right, eyes on JDST. Why is that? Let's see. I don't know about that. Okay. And volatility kicked me out. Yeah. What about DGAS? What about it? Natural gas is trying to push up right now. The overall direction is in favor of DGAS, but last week, right? Last week I got stuck in a bad trade where natural gas was overbought. I thought that it was done, and then as soon as the market opened, it began to uptrend. I just don't want to be put in a bad situation, in a bad position. So we're trying to be more selective. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'll let you guys know once I end up taking a trade. I would not still touch this. Yeah, it's oversold. It's AMD, all that stuff. It's down 3%. The overall market's down, so everything's going to be down. You can see Facebook, right? Facebook should be down roughly the same amount. Facebook, there it goes. Amazon, right? Apple. Come on, TD Ameritrade. Dude. All right, there we go. Yeah, overall, aggressive sell-off. What is it? Netflix. Is this in downtrend pattern? What's Shop doing? Down 2%. Everything, right? There's a time to be selective. It's now, right? Where's your BILF? What is that? Oh, that's the Bilzerian share. I've said that before. This is like the 10th time. I opened up right when I took that position. I opened up a separate account so I can transfer that position over. It took 2 days for them to transfer it, and it's just so it doesn't mess with my overall P&L. I still own I think it's 800 shares of BILZF, if that's what you're talking about, the Ignite, yeah. But I didn't want it to, if it's up on the day, I didn't want it to mess with my P&L. If it's down on the day, I didn't want it to mess with my P&L. It's still the same amount. It's trading at the same dollar amount that it was when I, the first day once it pulled back. So it's not anything, special or anything like that as of now. So, but yeah. All right. Still getting consolidation. My desktop is like brand new. So, it's like, especially with this one with the processor, this one's, not brand new, but it's new enough that it has a faster processor, and, I upgraded it in comparison to any other one out there. We had to special order this one, so. Yeah. Oh, Jason, that sounds good. There is no report today. It was a joke that I made earlier today. There's no report today. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the crude oil report, and then on Thursday it's the natural gas report. So the problem is that it's a Mac. I was waiting for that, right? A lot of people don't like Apple. It's all good. There it goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some breakfast. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'm not gonna make breakfast. I'm gonna go get some, and what's it called? I'll go ahead and I'll follow up with you guys on once I take my first trade. Once we have a little bit more of a clear understanding of what's pushing up and what's pushing down. Let's not put ourselves in a poor position and a hopeful position of what we hope pushes up or what we hope pushes down. Let's stay clear of any uncertainty and let's allow that opportunity to present itself. So really do appreciate your guys' time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green app. Take it easy, team.